would like to understand, or at least remind myself, what have I learned about this whole situation during my more than 30 years of learning from almost my teachers like Claudio and my colleagues here, and doing my own bit of research in the field. A quick reminder about the aging story to myself, basically, that if I want to develop interventions, I must understand where I am starting from and where I want to go and how I can and cannot go. So when we talk about old age, there is nothing good I can say about it. Yeah? It's less and less functional ability, more and more frailty, weakness, chances of diseases, and ultimate death. I wish I could say something positive about biological aging. I am not looking forward to becoming old biologically. What about socially? Well, that's a different situation. I might be even more frightened, but we can talk about that somewhere else. Here we are talking about the biology of aging. This is what is biology of aging. There is nothing which improves biologically with age. Maybe cancer cells grow better. Hairs start growing at wrong places in a better way. But give me one example of biological improvement with age. That's why interventions are perhaps needed. Whatever the ultimate reason, my fame or my fear. So aging is a progressive, intrinsic, impairing, happens in all individuals within a species where aging is seen. So aging is not programmed the way we generally understand program. There is no gene, no gerontogene. I coined this term about 30 years ago, and I have spent my life trying to prove that they don't exist. In natural circumstances, what we call essential lifespan, what is required by evolution to continue generations. So that's what genetically controlled. We call it essential lifespan, which is for our species 45 years. After that, that's when aging happens, and there are genes which are causing it. So genes are there which are longevity assurance, or as Mikkel will say, they carry on working whatever, and then you start seeing the problems because things are going wrong everywhere anyway. Because aging is so complex, and that's what you are hearing about it. We all talk about complexity, and that's what I have understood. Aging is a very dynamic and complex process. So, and then also yesterday also we saw this thing. The data scatter increases with age. We become more and more different when we age because no two even cells age differently. Especially we have data in all these aspects. Yesterday, who was showing the slide very Claudio showed or something. Yeah, that how we become different and different. And one Danish philosopher, after listening to one of my talks some years ago, gave a very beautiful sentence which summarizes the whole field of biogerontology. We are born as a copy, we die as an original. The whole life is a story of becoming original. Yeah? By the time we are nearing to originality, that's when we die. Because no two individuals are same. We start our life evolutionarily a little bit closer to each other, but we become so different and different. So which immediately means, which biogerontologists know, that there is no single mechanism, neither a single mechanism nor a central regulator of aging. So forget about controlling one or two things. Life would be very easy if there was something, one controlling us. That was the viewpoint when we talk about God controls everything. Life is easy. But life becomes difficult when there is no controller, but things are still going wrong. We are dynamic beings. We all talk dynamics, but somehow we keep using the old terminology. Not that this is not understood by my colleagues. They all talk about very dynamic, interactive processes. But we use the term homeostasis. If I can get rid of that term in my life, that will be one of my great achievements from my own point of view. I have tried, but sometimes I also end up using homeostasis. So what we call is that a new child, a newly born baby or any individual, is born with a certain homeodynamic space, the ability to survive. There is a danger zone where things can go wrong, but during growth, maturation, development, that homeodynamic space is a kind of a way of saying the property of life. And the three main characteristics of that property are our ability to respond to internal and external stress, ability to control damage, and most importantly, which Claudio has been pushing for the last 20 years, constant remodeling and adaptation. all the time. If I am living, I am constantly remodeling and adapting and tolerating stress. This is what keeps me alive. Aging is the shrinkage of the homeodynamic space. Our ability to live, our ability to adapt, our ability to tolerate stress, our ability to damage control. And as a result, the red zone is increasing. And the chances of one and more age-related diseases is there. So the common story about all diseases is the process of aging. So if aging is a disease, then you are responsible for it. Because you breathe, because you eat, because you metabolize. Then this is your own fault. So aging is not a disease, aging is a living process which increases all these other possibilities because evolution has not made us for a longer survival. Our agenda should be we are going to eliminate aging altogether. Is that our agenda? That we are not going to die? Or do we want to revert aging? Or do we want to slow down aging? Yeah. So what is the kind of interventions we want? So I am dead against the use of even the term anti-aging, because like several people have talked during this conference so far, we don't even fully define aging. What are we trying to go against? And social and psychological level, that does even more damage. I am approaching my old age with an anti-feeling, with a feeling of hatred and emptiness about myself. That's going to give me more problems. I should better prepare myself how to live in old age. And that's where scientific interventions are needed. So we need to change our mindset and our approaches. This hormone goes back, let me put it back. But whereas most of the hormone levels need to go down for a longer survival, that's what the studies show. Even insulin, growth hormone, testosterone. Because that's the adaptive value in the post-evolutionary survival period. So replenishments being done with simplistic, reductionistic, quick money-making kind of sale value is not science. It creates a lot of economy going, fantastic, multi-trillion-dollar industry can carry on, but there is nothing understanding developing out of it. Of course, scientists are also developing fantastic technology to help me live better in old age. There will be better wheelchairs, better sticks, better things to hear, to see, whatever other thing. Or there are people talking about transhumanism, post-humanism. Can we, if we are so powerful technologically, shall we even add new organs? Why can't I have more arms or 2 hearts or 3 eyes? And that's what transhumanism talks about. What's wrong with that? That will be a powerful intervention. It will maybe help me to live. Is that the way we want to go? Yes, carry on if those of you who want to go that way. But these are all the approaches. But then one approach where I would like to spend a little bit more time from this understanding which I got in 40 years of studying biogerontology, that aging is the progressive shrinkage of homeodynamic space. I might be doing exercise of my legs, but my mood improves, my memory improves, my immune system improves, my cognition improves. Again, I'm repeating a lot of the things you have been hearing since yesterday. Yeah, my colleagues and my seniors have talked about that. That you don't need any further evidence in support of the idea of hormesis. Hormesis is this biphasic dose response, especially physiological hormesis. There is radiation toxicology, pollution toxicology, it has wide-ranging implications. But in the field of aging, about 20 years ago in our lab, then we started shifting all our research into how to apply hormesis. So these 7 stress pathways, there will be a primary response. If I give heat to cells, cells will respond by heat shock pathway, but then others will follow that. That is the basis of hormesis. If the cell is able to take that stress repeatedly, then it will lead towards the hormetically beneficial effects. In our labs, we have been doing basically these 4 areas. I'm not going to show you any slides of our work, and a lot of work has been done. Maybe one example I will give you at a simple level. Like when we started work with mild heat shock, if I give 41-degree shock to human fibroblasts in cell culture, 1 hour, 2 times a week, their aging changes. This is the typical aging of serial passage skin fibroblasts at 37 degrees. This is the aging of the cells which were given 2 times, 1 hour every time, 2 times a week, heat shock. So they have gone through more than 150 heat shocks. And even the untrained eye can see the difference between a typically normally aging senescent cell and the senescent cell which underwent so many rounds of stress. It's not a day-to-day living activity. It's more than living activity. That's why when we go to the gym, it's more than physical activity of the day. The day activity is adaptation. So there are even data coming about meditation. People asked to sit in focused attention or meditation produce the same kind of heat shock proteins which are there during running in the gym. Yeah, we don't know where they are coming from, etc., but these are the phenomenological observations. And then at present, lots and lots of research is going on nutritional hormetin. Then I want to have measurements. How will I get convinced that my health has become better? I need biomarkers of health, not biomarkers of aging. Biomarkers of health is the approach towards creating damage control and whatever else we want. Thank you very much.